Hi there, it's Kevin with Gone Rogue Games here with the part 2 video to the top 10 products that I think are good buys for March 2022. In the part 1 video over the Rogue Market channel, we talk about 5 Magic the Gathering products which I think are good buys. If you're interested in those products, definitely go check it out at the Rogue Market channel. I'll have the link in the description below where it's in the channels. You can go and see the first part of this video. In this video on this channel, what we do is I pick products that I particularly like. So it's a little bit different from the ones that I pick on the Rogue Market. Typically, the Rogue Market are products that I think are like the last opportunity to buy before they go up or they're going out of stock or whatnot. In this one, I just pick non-Magic the Gathering products that I think are just something that you might be interested in as a patron or not a patron of just some of my favorite board games or accessories or things that have come out. This is a short little review on them. I hope that you find this information both entertaining and informative. So first of all, the first product that just came out from Ultra Pro. I can't believe I'm showcasing an Ultra Pro product I actually like. Actually, no, I actually do like quite a bit of Ultra Pro products, but these are just knocked out of the parks. These are the Mana Symbol Playmats by Ultra Pro. So I believe that the patron price for these is $15. Just look how these suckers pop. So this is a beautiful mat. They really did a good job on these from Ultra Pro. Typically, like I said, I don't really like the quality of Ultra Pro Playmats, but they're fine. This mat is fine here. It's got this beautiful kind of Celtic artwork for the mana symbols that has the snakes around it, and there is going to be one for each color plus what they call the Planeswalker symbol one. So this is the orange one that's a Planeswalker symbol, and that one's just beautiful as well. Just look how this pops. And I don't have the other ones out of their cases yet, but you can kind of get a glimpse of what they look like there for the red one and the white one. And I don't have a blue one at the moment. I think I sold out of the blue ones. So there's a white one. And then my favorite, of course, the black one there for the swamp or the mana symbol, the black mana symbol playmat. And again, these are by Ultra Pro. And I think the MSRP for them is around $30. And I think or $25 or $30. And I can get them for about $15 is my price for these. So if you're interested in these as a patron, I have them in the commonly order item sheets, and they are available to order. Right now, there's plenty of them from various distributors, so order these to your heart's content. Like I said, they're one of the better mats that have been released by Ultra Pro in a long time. As you can see, these suckers just absolutely pop. Alrighty, so that is my accessory as far as the playmats are concerned. Let's get on to the product, and another card game that I think is a good buy right now, and this is the Flesh and Blood Welcome to Wraith. Now, why I'm showcasing this one is this is now considered out of print. The distributors do have this one, but it's the first set that is ever printed. Supply of these is pretty high, but I do think that Flesh and Blood is going to age well, and I just wanted to showcase my patrons you can buy Flesh and Blood from me. This is currently, I think these are around $55 or $60 a booster box for Flesh and Blood. I think there's going to be a sale on these. I'll have to keep my eye open for them because, like I said, I think that Flesh and Blood, I've been talking about this. Maybe I'll have to do a more in-depth video over on the Rogue Market channel or the Rogue Deck Builder, that this company tried to learn to basically sprint before it even learned to crawl. And I do blame a lot of the speculators and he who should not be named for really pumping this. I mean, which is fine. It gets the word out there. But what they did is what speculators end up doing is they cause demand for products that don't really, like, it's not real demand. It's speculative demand. It's hoping that there ever will be the demand to then outstretch that from the supply. And when speculators get into something like a new game like Flesh and Blood or MetaZoo or Digimon, or even like they've done so in Magic the Gathering, it causes these big kind of like when you stretch rubber band it and it springs back. So this is kind of what happened with this, is these boxes were starting to creep up, which right before these did go out of stock, it led to Legendary Studios just really printing these suckers into the ground. And now there's just a lot of supply, comparatively speaking, to how many collectors or players are out there for Flesh and Blood. And we've started to see not only the supply from the manufacturer come out, but all the speculators then dumping their supply back on the market. So I do think this will age well, though. It's the first set ever. Unlimited is as good as not as first edition, in my opinion. I think that recently with the last 3 sets now, we've seen that the collectors and speculators and players just don't seem to care about cold foils, or don't really seem to care that a first edition versus an unlimited edition, as there's very, very little. I mean, in these, back during the old Magic days, it was a border, it was a white border, but with Flesh and Blood, all it is like a little symbol. Whether it be filled in circle or a non-filled in circle for the rarity is how you tell between the unlimited and the limited. So in my opinion, there's no like if you actually look at reprints, the first edition set of a reprint, like say something was printed in Theros and then is reprinted now again in Theros Beyond Death, it doesn't matter what version it's from, they're both worth the same. So I think the Flesh and Bloods can be kind of similar in that regards. Yes, the card might be more rare in a first edition, but an unlimited card does the same thing. And this is a game that is largely based on utility rather than collectability. So most of the cards that are worth money are actually seeing play in decks, and therefore, again, utility is the whole reason to be collecting the card to begin with, rather than the collectability. It doesn't really have the lore or that sort of player base or fan base behind it to really make this as much of a collectible as, say, something like Pokemon or Magic. So anyway, that's my 2 cents about this. But again, it was a great set. It's the first set ever. And if you are looking to get some Welcome to Wraith, I wouldn't wait on this particular product. I think it's a good price point right now. And there will be other sets that are available. I believe Everfest Unlimited will be coming out. Same thing, it'll be around $55 to $60 a booster box, and you can get these as a patron from me. So I really like Flesh and Blood. I think it's a great game. I think that it has a lot of legs. There was like 1,800 players at their largest tournament, which is actually really good for how young the company is or how young the game is. Seems to have a pretty good fan base. It's lasted the test of time, at least 2 to 3 years. Hasn't really fallen off. Still continues to fill tournaments, and especially when this happened during like COVID, when Wizard of the Coast wasn't even doing tournaments. So we'll have to wait and see again if it will have the legs. Is like I said, only time can tell. But the biggest warning sign about this particular, which should be okay in the long run, is just a lot of these things are really, really overprinted, and this is being one of them with the Welcome to Wraith. Which, by the way, this was supposed to be unlimited. They're still debating on what unlimited is. Unlimited was like, we're going to keep printing this. And so when people were surprised when Unlimited went out of print. But yeah, there is kind of a magic. It means unlimited, meaning they'll keep printing it within its kind of 2-year cycle for as long as there's demand for it. Anyway, huge rant, or not rant, huge ramble for this Flesh and Blood. But this is available to patrons, so shoot me a message if you're looking for Flesh and Blood. Next up, now we get on to the good stuff. This is board games. So my board game pick for this month is Clank, and look how loved this game is. Look how many times this game has been unboxed and played. It's even got this little rubber band to keep it closed. I mean, look, the corner's all thrashed up. This game has been played like crazy, and this is one of our favorite games here at the store. It's a deck building game that is also a dungeon crawl game. So the whole, well, not really dungeon crawl, the whole point of this game is, you can see I've got like almost every, I like this game so much that I think I have all the expansions for Clank. I haven't really gotten into Clank in Space, but I've got all the expansions for Clank and even played the Clank Legacy version of this. So you can get, most of the expansions are still available, and I believe even Clank Legacy is still available from distributors. But Clank itself, I believe, is like a $37 game. Its MSRP is for $60, but I think the price out the door, what I get is like $37. That's pretty typical. I usually get like 42% off of MSRP for most stuff. So, but this comes with a... how you play it is you kind of crawl down this board. So you start up here in the corner, and you're trying to go down the board, and you're trying to collect an artifact. And as soon as you get an artifact down here, then you can decide if you want to go back out of the game. So that's how Clank works, is you're moving a character through the dungeon, through all these rooms, and you're trying to use a deck of cards. You start with like a really base deck that generates a lot of Clank. Clank is bad in this game. You want to avoid it, because every time you generate a Clank, it goes into a pool, and every time you awaken the dragon attacks, and then that many cubes are pulled out of this dragon bag. And so if you have a lot of Clank building up, a lot of your cubes will end up in here. And then if you ever get 10 damage from your Clank cubes being pulled out, then you just lose the game. And so how you play the game is you're trying to move through the dungeon, collect items, collect a lot of victory points, and then you have the option to get out of the dungeon. And then once you're out of the dungeon, you're safe, and then you can just score your points at the end of the game. Or if you die below ground, so it has this little below ground, you'll just lose the game. But if you die above ground, you get knocked out by at the end of the game, the villagers come and save you, and you still can score points, but you don't get the bonus for leaving the dungeon. So I really, really, really like Clank. It's a fun game. I don't know if I've ever met anyone that hates the game. There are definitely people that don't like these sort of games, these sort of kind of dungeon crawl deck building games. But this is a good one. It's a classic, and I actually do have Clank in my essentials board games for every board game like people that want to get into the genre. So when they're starting a collection, Clank is in the top. I believe I do have it in my top 10 essentials. I'll have to share a list of that again and do a video for the top 10 essentials, as well as I don't know if Clank quite makes my top 10 list personally, but it definitely is top 10 essentials that I think that you need for starting a board game collection. So there are a lot of other stuff. So many expansions for this game that I had to actually put it in the next product, which is the Ultimate Guard. This one is the Archive 800. So I really like the Archive 800, and there's also like the Archive 400s. This one though is just such a great deck box. Again, look how loved this guy is, and it holds my entire Clank collection. So I'm not sure the price right now because accessories have just been going through the roof. But this is another thing, you don't have to just hold Magic cards in like these archives and whatnot. This one actually holds all of my Clank. So actually, this one is not the Archive 800. No, this one is not. This is the Super Hive, I believe. Or this one holds a playmat here. But anyway, I just wanted to, for the other product, showcase the Ultimate Guard deck boxes are still some of my favorite, or not deck boxes, collection. What do they call these things? The archives are still some of my my favorite products out there. They have great magnets to hold stuff. This can actually hold the dice. I've got kind of the dragons that come in here. Depends on which version of Clank you're running. There's a mummy. There's a spider in one of them. There's an alligator in one of them, I think is what this is. Yeah, and they do different things in different Clank games. But this box holds all of the Clank pieces to it. So the box has all the boards in it. Now this has all the pieces to it. And it's just a very good deck box for what it does to hold all of the different stuff. Oh, there's a sword that's coming out of that box there. So there's one of the Clank ones has these little minis that we've painted up and even thrown here. So yeah, Clank is really, really well played here. Very, very good game. Anyway, there is all of the Clank cards. Look how many expansions are in here. So that leads us to my last product on the top 5 list, and I've showcased boulders like the Boulder 100s before, which I do have in here, but boulders actually come in 60s and they come in 80s. So I got like an 80, a 60, and a 40. So they also come in these other sizes, and these 40s are actually super good for smaller board games that just have some cards in it, or in like this one, I just have like all of the expansion, all of one of these expansions in this blue one. So it's just got, you know, it's just got all these other expansions that go in this blue box. And I think the same thing that I have for this green box is like cards that then go into another expansion. And they even come in clear. So clear is another option for the Ultimate Guard boulders. And so a lot of people do know they come in 80s and 100s because those have been around for a long time, and they don't know they come in these. These are also decently good for like draft. You can hold your draft deck in one of these. So you go to pre-release, you can just, you know, stick it in a draft box. And it also is good for, like I said, board games that don't have as many cards, and they know they can fit in boxes. I think I've got some of them in some of these other games where I just need like a box that will hold the cards, but not, you know, be too bulky. Like if I had to try to put this in a board game box, and then it wouldn't close. So they do come in the 40s and they do come in the 60s, and I can't remember the price on those. Are like $5, I think, for 40s, 60s, and then 80s and 100s are like $6 or $7. So accessories are going up in price, which is understandable with all the gas prices and all the other, you know, inflation and whatnot going up. We knew that was going to happen with accessories. So I wouldn't wait on accessories. If you know what you want, I'd buy them now before they do go up in value. But these are still my favorite deck boxes. I don't think I can go, like I use boulders for everything. Sometimes you can get kind of a lemon of a boulder where they have they weren't quite, you know, cut properly, and you have a boulder that doesn't work as well as it should. But all in all, usually they're pretty solid. They're a great option for storing cards, and they come in a variety of very vibrant colors. Like I said, they got emerald and sapphire and clear and frosted, and we got, I think this is amber, and there's plenty of other colors for the boulders, and I believe they all come in, all but the naturals come in like all the other sizes too. So I usually can keep these in stock, so I usually have them on hand for a lot of them. I typically keep many of them in the back room because they are such a hot seller. And this is another product that is available to purchase. So there you go for my top 10 products. Again, the boulders 60, 40, 60, 80, 100s, all great products. You can see they fit nice here in. This is a Super Hive, I think is what this is called, or I can't remember what this one's called, but they fit great in these Ultimate Guard boxes. Now I can't close this because I had it in here all nice, and now I can't figure out how I got it in here. We'll figure it out. And you were here, and you were there, and I just lost another piece to one of the minis. Good enough. We have Clank, the adventuring game. Very, very good board game. If you're looking to get into board games, must have in your collection. We have the Welcome to Wraith booster box from Flesh and Blood. Great way to get into Flesh and Blood. These are the OG. This is the OG set with the OG characters. In fact, I think they're coming out with a Classic Battles. Dorinthia versus one of their characters in there is coming out. We have the Ultimate or Ultra Pro beautiful Playmats. And that was it, right? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But those are 5 products that I think are great buys for March 2020. I highly encourage you to go back in the archives too and look at some of the other months where we've done this, because I do showcase some really, really cool products. In this week or this month, I will have these highlighted on the little patron order form sheet, or the commonly order items of the products that I listed here. And so if you're looking for the prices on those and the availability on those, they will be in that sheet. So if you aren't a patron, maybe this will convince you to come over and be a patron at patreon.com/roguedeckbuilder, as still the best way to fund this channel and kind of get me motivated for doing these videos. So I highly appreciate everyone for their continued patronage. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Kevin with Gone Rogue Games. Thanks for watching.